Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd.
This astrology report is for the week of July 30th, and we will also be discussing the month of astrology for August. I like to do that to set us up for a successful month ahead, just kind of point out a lot of those key dates along the way and look at the flow of the energy of the month coming up. But we started here on the community radio station version of this podcast with the song Venus by Shocking Blue, because this week is a Venus week. We have Mercury slowing down to station retrograde before the end of this astrology report week. And so we also have multiple outer planets in retrograde, which means that they have slowed down their activity. The energy is muted a bit when a planet goes retrograde. Also can be a time when we slow down and focus a little more on recent past events that have taken place in our past history, more current past history. We mull over some of those recent themes and projects and things we are working on in life and make edits and review things. We make edits so that when we station direct with these planets and start moving forward yet again, we're ready for forward movement. And we've gone back and made these corrections, made these edits, made things just a little more efficient, and also internalize things a bit. There is an internalization that takes place during retrograde, and Mercury is the most famous planet that goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. Mercury is slowing down, which means our mind is starting to slow down. Our communications starting to wane a little bit. We are also seeing technology, phones, computers, emails, text messaging, downloads, internet, all of this type of activity ruled by the planet of Mercury and also slowing down. It's going to start taking us more time to get places, to do our errands, to do our short trips around town, also ruled by Mercury, that transportation that takes place on a routine basis close to home. And so we enter the week with this slower internalizing energy. And then Venus becomes the star. She is moving at her full speed. She is in her full glory. Currently, as we speak, approaching 24 degrees of Leo. And she's going to be making a trine with Chiron. This is an exact trine that takes place on July 30th, and this is a healing aspect. This is a very beautiful healing opportunity for Venus themes. Love, money, trust, our value systems, the things in life that we get pleasure from, art, creativity. These are all Venus ruled themes. And so she comes in a trine, which is an aspect that is usually a positive, quick moving. If we were looking for action, that a trine can make some quick action, we can make a positive change here to the healing that's taking place in terms of those Venus themes. Chiron represents our places where we're wounded. And so when a trine comes in, it's an opportunity for like a positive healing. So this is approaching and becoming exact on July 30th. But of course, we're feeling it for a few days going in and a few days going out of that exact aspect. Venus is in Leo right now, so she's working on Leo themes. This is the home, hearth. This is the heart. This is our passions. Also, Leo, very much a representation of the children and our own childlike spirit and our vulnerability when it comes to being childlike here. We want to play with that. We want to embrace when we have Leo energy, this Venus and also the sun being in Leo at about 8 degrees as we speak here today on the 30th of July. So with Leo, we want to embrace the childlike behavior, learn some new games, play with your kids a little more than you normally would. Play with somebody else's kids, make a joke, laugh about silly things, make silly faces and just enjoy it, because that's that childlike enthusiasm that Leo really likes to bring in. So in a way, we're having this very lighthearted healing when it comes to Venus in Leo making this trine to Chiron. And this week is also the midpoint of summer. We have reached 6 weeks in, and this is this week Lunasad or Lamas. There are many different names for the cross-quarter holidays and then the midpoints between those holidays, which create the 8 points that kind of break up the year. The solstices, the equinoxes, and then the halfway points between those. So at this point, we are halfway between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. Oh, I hate to be the bearer of that news that summer is actually halfway over. I was just walking through the park the other day and saw my first sign of fall, and it was just a beautiful yellow fall colored leaf that had fallen from the tree to the ground, and it just gave me that first little glimpse into fall. And I've also been starting to see advertisements for Halloween already, which I think that they're starting to even get a little further ahead with Halloween than Christmas in my mind. But Venus remains on our minds this week because on July 2nd, she comes into a square with Uranus. And a square is a little more of a tough, challenging aspect. When we have a square, it's almost like we get taken off guard. It's a 90-degree aspect, so something comes from the side and kind of surprises us a little bit. Some type of challenge, some type of trouble that we need to focus on and work through. And with a square, we really do require action. There's some type of action that we want to take. So that same Venus in Leo, having just had this really beautiful healing this week, is squaring off to the planet of awakening and surprise. And this can also be a chance for some type of realization or mental awakening or some type of nervous system awakening that Uranus represents. And Uranus is approaching those final degrees of Taurus and starting to finish up themes there. So it could be part of this long-term 10-year travel that Uranus has made through the sign of Taurus. We're starting to clean up some of those themes. We're starting to come to the end of some of those. So we could see some type of closure in regards to what Uranus and Taurus has been about for us, or a beginning to what is going to be the ending of Uranus and Taurus by 2026. But nonetheless, there will be a sense of surprise and shock and something taking us sort of by something coming out of our rear view or out of our side view and coming out of nowhere on July 2nd throughout the weekend. As the weekend moves on, we start to wane into our Leo new moon. This brings more internalization to the week and more of a slower, quiet attitude as we approach the day that Mercury actually stations to go retrograde. And this new moon is the dark before the dawn. So we have a quiet time to work on Leo themes, which isn't a normal Leo thing. Leo likes to be big and be out in front of people and to be expressive. The sun is the planetary ruler of Leo. And so normally Leo likes to be centered in the center of everything. And this Leo new moon always challenges that a little bit. How do we center within ourselves? And of course, Leo represents the heart. So we go within to the heart. And there we find the comfort. And there we find the hearth fire burning for us. So very much already talked a lot about Leo themes. So with a new moon, we are setting new intentions. We are slowing down enough to hopefully have some type of intention setting, what we would like the next lunar cycle to be about. Here in Leo, the new moon also falls on July 4th, also falls on the same day as Venus, the star of our week, enters a new sign. She moves from Leo into Virgo, and we start to work on new, different themes. We get a different focus in regards to what we're working on with Venus themes, that love, money, trust, value system. We're going to be applying to Virgo. And Virgo is a sign that likes to get things in order and likes to make sure that the to-do list is made and that it's being worked on and that we are completing things that need to be done. Also, Virgo is a detoxifier. This is where we like to clean things up and even detox our own bodies. Virgo is another representation. Virgo represents health. And so we can have just new health routines come in. Venus is all about love and loving others, but also loving ourselves. Venus is about all relationships. So this is going to be, bringing in these themes here of our relationship with our own health routine and our relationship with other people. Is it clean? Is it in order? Do we have to-do lists to work on when it comes to our relationships? Are we getting a little behind? Are we not taking care of relationships the way that we need to when Virgo energy is available with Venus transiting Virgo here? Then we work on that stuff. It comes to the forefront. We start focusing on that. So Venus also in those last few degrees this week of Leo. So we're going to be feeling those critical final degrees. Things start to build up. We want to make sure that we get all those things done that Venus wanted to do in Leo, play those last games of chess with the kids, do that cool outing that you wanted to do with your nephew and just get her out of the way, because Virgo is a new energy. It's not as out there. It's a little more grounded and it's a little more focused. So make sure that you're getting all of those childlike things in this week in terms of your Venus life. And then we go to August 5th, which takes us to our Mercury retrograde. That is the day. Sorry, I think I was saying July 4th for that, but it's August 4th for the new moon and the day that Venus enters Virgo. Turning my page on the planner, got a little confused. But August 5th, Mercury stations retrograde. So another time to focus in on our intuition. This is happening starting the retrograde in Virgo, a very feminine sign, that down to earth energy that wants to take care of things efficiently, going to retrograde back into Leo. So we're going to be returning to some of those themes, but for now, sitting very quietly in Virgo, making those to-do lists, trying to figure out what this Mercury retrograde's going to be about. So as we move into the month of August, there's a couple of key things happening. We have one big planetary conjunction on August 13th, and then we have a pretty big full moon on August 19th, and then Mercury is going to station retrograde on August 28th, with Venus moving into a new sign by the end of August. So we have now entering into the second week of August, we begin to feel the energies of this upcoming planetary conjunction on August 13th. And this is happening in the sign of Gemini between the planets of Mars and Jupiter. Two huge energies. Mars is going to be approaching Jupiter and crossing over the top. And these energies are going to be blending together. This is really big, especially for a time that is really slowing down. This is happening during the midst of our Mercury retrograde, where all these outer planets are traveling pretty slow. Uranus slowing down. Chiron stopped because just went retrograde. And then these huge physical, loud energies of Mars and Jupiter come together. This is going to be right around 15 degrees of Gemini. So there's going to be some big physical expression, some exaggeration, some big opportunity available here. We are going to be over the top with our warrior spirit, Mars, because Jupiter becomes a huge accelerator, basically. Jupiter makes everything bigger and like combusts things, just gives it a platform to stand on and says, here you go, world, here's Mars. Jupiter is going to be doing that, and it's going to be big. This is also a sort of, when you blend these two energies that can tend to shoot first and ask questions later, this can be also a place where we can be over the top, making mistakes or saying things or doing things that we didn't mean to do, because there's going to be this sort of irrational, sort of brash, impulsive energy associated with these planets coming together. This is not rare. It happens once every couple years, every time Mars comes around and meets up with Jupiter. So if you have some type of big need for big physical expression, for getting something big out into the world, this could be a really good opportunity to do so. Now, this is happening in the sign of Gemini. So we're talking about Gemini themes. These planets coming together, creating a warrior spirit, enhancing this, and it's going to be in Gemini themes. Gemini is all about communication, the news and interviews and reporters and data and gathering information. Research is a big Gemini theme. Gemini, these are usually people who are talkative. This is an air sign. This is where we use our voice, and there could be some big things said. There could be some big news that comes out around August 13th or the week going in, the week coming out. So watch for that. Keep your energy in a place where you are comfortable with it. And if you feel, like you need to get out and do something real big, Mars is a great place to just go out and go do some physical exercise. Exercise. If you are feeling tense or like you just can't get your nerves under control. The very next day, August 14th, Mercury moves back into the sign of Leo, returns there on the retrograde. So our mind is going to be shifting between the 13th and the 14th back to Leo themes. We're going to be going back, making edits, making sure that everything is in place where it needs to be there. And then our full moon on August 19th, this is the corn moon, and we'll be talking more about this as we approach. But the full moon happening right at the end of Leo season here, and then on August 22nd, the sun enters Virgo. So the whole season of Leo builds and builds and builds and builds and builds into the full moon on August 19th. We move into Virgo on the 22nd, and right before the end of the month on August 28th, Mercury stations direct, and on the 29th, Venus moves in to Libra, and we get a glimpse at what is coming up for Libra season. So this is all happening. I mean, we can feel all of these things as we're moving in and out of them, and so work with what you can when you can with the knowledge and experience and tools that you have available to you, because that's all that we can do. And I really hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you were able to glean some information that is going to help you live your most benevolent life. But just know that things are really slowing down, and to give extra time for communication, give extra time for errands and driving places. Could be quite slowed down, especially over the weekend. Give room for yourself to think. The mind could slow down. We just need more time to process. So thank you so much for being tuned in. I really appreciate that, and I hope you have an awesome week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.